Hey, Rich Tyson here. It has been 8 weeks since I've talked to you. It's been far too long, but there's plenty to update you on. The Rona, Landlord Rental Assistance Program, short-term rentals, and Florida. Let's get to it. So it's been an eventful 8 weeks, to say the least. I had the Rona and survived it, lived to tell the tale. My experience was thankfully quite mild, a lot of body aches. I feel like I slept 27 hours a day, stayed away from pretty much everybody else, which was, the right thing to do. But so that wasn't fun. That took me kind of out of the whole game for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Landlord Rental Assistance Program updates. So, I've told you guys that, I've applied for that. We ended up putting in about $80,000 worth of applications. We did that actually right about the time of my last video, which was October 12th through the 15th is when I dropped those applications. We were told a 4 to 6 week turnaround time for approvals. So far, out of the 14 applications that I put in, that I had good justification and good proof. There was plenty more dollars that I could have applied for, but it was going to be difficult to quantify the losses there. So I felt that I would just focus on the ones where I had previous evictions in process and people disappeared, which is what the Landlord Rental Assistance Program is focused on. The LRAP program, as it's also known. Put in $80,000 in applications. So far, we've received, out of the 14, I've had 6 get approved. Some of them not in full. I have not received any justification as to why, but have received just shy of $24,000, which is helpful, but it would be nice if New York could get on the ball. One of the frustrations I found is that, they had you type in a rental arrears type thing on the website. You had to do it as part of the application. I think I touched on that in a previous video. But then, 6 weeks after I put the application in, they wanted a ledger, which was identical to that. So I, provided the exact same information in a PDF as opposed to dialing it into their website. And then pretty much on all those, they came back and said, well, you didn't put the person's name on it. So I resubmitted the paperwork there. They've asked me for duplicates on a lot of information, but not consistently on the application. So I'd love to know if any of you are running into that as well out there. It's been a little frustrating to say the least, especially now that I'm basically 8 weeks into a 4 to 6 week process with New York State in order to get some of these approvals. It would be really beneficial if anybody watching this video works for New York State to get some of these things approved. I'd like to pay some property taxes if I can. A quick tidbit. Many of you have reached out to ask what's going on directly across the street from my office over here at the corner of Winton and Blossom. So I know that the building directly across the street, if you're looking from my office across the street at the Tops gas station to the right, that is going to be an urgent care facility, which might come in handy, when I'm smashing my head against the wall over here in the office trying to get these LRAP applications through. If I damage myself too badly, I can simply walk across the street and get the attention that I might need. On the other side of the gas station, the lot, or the site rather, that's focused or pointed towards Blossom Road, I'm told that that's going to be a Starbucks. I have not received 100% confirmation, but if I look at the building that they just put up, Daniele's put up over on Monroe Avenue in front of where the new Whole Foods is going, this one looks almost identical. It looks like it's going to be a drive-through Starbucks, which will be handy. Nice little coffee shop in the neighborhood. The last thing I want to touch on here is short-term rentals. So as I've made it clear, I am liquidating a majority of what I own here in New York. In fact, Monday morning, about 2 hours and 10 minutes ago, closed on another sale of Mike and I's that's going to a downstate investor, of course. That was a double that we sold off. Unfortunately, that was an actually good performing property, but it had a little bit of equity that we need to kind of take care of the things that the LRAP dollars aren't coming in fast enough for. So that's going to leave us with 7 properties still here in the Rochester area. But a few weeks ago, my wife and I put under contract for ourselves our first short-term rental, which is, I think, ideally where I'm going to start taking my investing. So we are purchasing a sweet little kind of glamping, off-grid-ish type little cabin just north of the village of Naples in the southern tier of New York. I'll throw up some pictures so you can take a look at it. It is going to be a fantastic little rental option. It has been getting Airbnb'd for the past few years. It's got electric, it's got an incinerator toilet. It has no running water yet. We may put a well on the property. There's certainly neighboring properties that have water going to them, so I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to accommodate that, but not guaranteed. It seems like people are enjoying the kind of semi-off-grid experience. And I think one of the coolest parts of it is it's got a waterfall, though somewhat seasonal, as I understand it. If it gets real dry out in the summer, it doesn't flow. But there is a little waterfall that comes down the back of the property. It's quite scenic, and then it runs through kind of a little creek and down to the road and across the street towards what is all state land. So it's a little shy of 2.5 acres. It's a really neat little property. When we first heard about the opportunity off market, I literally jumped in my truck and drove down, took a look at it, and we put it under contract 24 hours later. So we'll be very excited. We're going to be doing a couple things with that, and then we can update you all on that and you can start booking your weekends soon. And along the lines of the short-term rental strategy, something else that I kind of knocked out over the last several weeks here, as I have not been with you on video, is just looking at political climates, rental climates, and everything that's kind of going on these days. And this last year and a half, 2 years has certainly opened a lot of eyes. I went ahead and did the 63-hour course and passed the test this past week. And then I'm going to be duly licensed in the state of Florida as well. It seems like a total counter to what's going on here in New York. I was down there over the summer. I think I shared with some of you that I was down there taking a look at kind of just the climate. I'm a big West Coast fan. Sarasota, Venice, Fort Myers, kind of that whole area up and down in there, maybe even up towards Tampa. I was stationed in Pensacola previously, and I've always been a big fan of the Gulf. I'm never going to be awake for a sunrise on the Atlantic, so put me on the Gulf Coast, let me capture those sunsets, and it's like pretty much like the #1 retirement destination in the country. So, if you're looking ahead, may as well put down some roots. So, in order to better serve not only my own investing interests, but those of my clients, I've also certainly exported a number of people out of New York in these past few years and sent them on down to various parts of Florida. But I am going to get licensed. I am getting licensed in Florida so that I can start to open up some opportunities there, like I said, both for my wife and I in terms of investing into some, vacation Airbnb, VRBO type rentals. But I also know that the demand is getting higher for many of you here in the Western New York area that want to either find a permanent home down there, or you're looking for a second home or some sort of a vacation rental option as well. So there's going to be plenty of news coming forward about that, but took the initiative, knocked out the 63-hour course. There's not reciprocity with New York in terms of licensing, so kind of had to start right over at the beginning, taking the salesperson's online education, and then I did take the test and thankfully passed it this past week. So there'll be much more news to follow on that. And I've got my first trip planned here for the middle of January. We're going to go down and take a look around at some options, and look forward to bringing you some more updates on that. So I'll leave you with this. RISE Real Estate Services, as I've mentioned before, it's an acronym. The I means independence, right? And I look at real estate investing as a path towards independence financially, in terms of time and what you do to make create an income for yourself. So that's really a big focus of what I've got going on, is creating independence for myself. And also for my agents that come on board, is to kind of walk them through and train them how to become financially independent, and also how to be independent in creating their own business, and not being totally reliant on a broker, but really understanding how to create a successful business for oneself that's not subject to any pressures outside of their own activities, but then also creating some independence financially so that at some point they don't have to continue to sell real estate in order to sustain an income for themselves. It's, I love selling real estate, plan on doing it for an awful long time, But at some point, I'd like to retire, and there's not a 401k necessarily, or any sort of a compensation package when you're self-employed or an independent contractor, as most agents are. So if you're an agent and you're liking what you hear in terms of the independent side of real estate, and you're trying to find that path towards some financial independence, reach out. I'd be excited and happy to share with you what I'm doing, kind of demonstrate what maybe to avoid here in New York, what maybe to focus on in New York, and really looking forward to being able to bring in a wealth of expertise and knowledge on the Florida market as we go forward as well. So there's the updates. I promise I won't be another 8 weeks until I talk to you. Hope you're doing well. Have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we'll be in touch soon. Be well, folks. On to 2022.